Hello and welcome to episode 76 of Namaste Yoga. This week's podcast is about your true self, your Atman, the Purusa. Hello, welcome to episode 2.
Here's our blanket, excellent.
Asymmetrical twist. Dropping and sinking. Notice how
So just notice.
Joining us for the second episode next week. Namaste. Thank you for joining us for episode 76 of Namaste Yoga. As usual, I'd like to start the podcast with a letter from one of our listeners. I love hearing from you. There's lots of ways we can stay in touch. You can go to my website, www.melissawest.com, and send me an email through the website. You can also go to Facebook and friend us at Namaste Yoga and send me a message that way. I love to hear about how Namaste Yoga is being incorporated into and affecting you in your life. So this week's letter comes from Kelly Ann. And she says, Dr. West, I just completed the final class, and she's talking about the chakra series. It gave me the enlightenment I was so in need of. As I've commented before, this series was a pure joy. Working especially with the crown chakra returned me to the balance I had lost quite some time ago. Using the thread the needle pose as a way of mending things back to wholeness truly is a beautiful metaphor. So I'm so glad Kelly Ann loved that metaphor. To me, that was just such a beautiful thing as I was working with it in my own personal practice, and to be able to share it with all of you is such a gift. As I said, today's class is on your true self, your with a capital T and a capital S, your Purusa, your Atman. It's about our innermost nature. And today I'm going to be drawing heavily from two books. Now, I also said I was going to start each week with a book recommendation. And of course, okay, so there's the yama or niyama of non-hoarding. And okay, I do pretty well with everything except for books. I just love hoarding knowledge. It's a little embarrassing. So this week I would like to recommend Alberto Villoldo's translation of the Yoga Sutras. It's Yoga, Power, and Spirit, Patanjali, the Shaman. So Alberto Villoldo is a shaman. He does most of his work on shamanism. And this is one of the most beautiful lyrical translations of the Yoga Sutras that I've personally read. I just love it, and it really embodies the shamanic tradition of connection to earth and respect for nature, and to me that's just so beautiful, and I love how he weaves that into his translation of the Yoga Sutras. So I'm going to be pulling a lot from this book in our teachings today. And then the other book that I want to recommend is Mark Whitwell's book, Yoga of Heart, The Healing Power of Intimate Connection. And I'm also going to be drawing very heavily from his work today in the vinyasas that we're going to be doing. A lot of them are from him or inspired from his vinyasa practice that we'll be working with today. This book is just fantastic. The entire thing speaks to what we're working with today. So I can open to any page in this book and find a quote that will speak to what we're working with today. For example, if you are trying to know God when you already are God, you will make yourself miserable. Likewise in yoga, if you try to go beyond your breath, you will be miserable. But if you are with your breath, then you will be that which is breathing you. And every single quote in here is just so inspiring. It's just incredible, an incredible book, and he is one of the people that I feel one of the few teachers in the world today that is truly living his yoga in a really beautiful way. And if you ever have a chance to go and study with him or be in his presence, it's truly amazing. I interviewed him once, and he's just such a beautiful, gracious man. I highly encourage you to get to know him. Okay, so today's class, we are going to start with legs up the wall today. So I will demonstrate how to get into legs up the wall. And then I will come back up for the teaching. You'll do legs up the wall while we do our teaching for today. So the way you get into legs up the wall is to bend your knees and place your hips right up against the wall. And then you'll swing your legs around. So they come up the wall like that. And you will start here, resting here. You can either rest your hands on your belly or palms up beside you. Okay, later after we go through the teachings, we'll be working with sleeping eagles. So it's eagle's arms resting on the top of your forehead. And we'll do that on both sides. Okay, but for now, just rest with your arms, palms up, or your hands on your belly, whichever is more comfortable for you right now. So allow yourself to settle in and begin to connect with your breathing as we will through this entire class today. So today's class is on our true self, capital T, capital S, also known as the Purusa or the Atman. This is your individual inner light of awareness. And it's known as, Nikolai Bachman says it's known as the inner spectator watching events unfold in the heart-mind. It's also known as the Atman, and it is that underlying conscious, changeless spirit that animates life and illumines truth. Purusa is also the subtle essence that pervades life itself. It denotes one's individual spirit that is part of the universal spirit. When we say namaste, the word that this show is named after, it means that we are honoring the Purusa, the true self, the Atman, the divine nature that resides in the other person. Our true self is illumined by the inner light of awareness, as opposed to functioning with clouded perception. And we spoke and learned a lot about that last week in episode 75, if you want to go back to the kleshas and the teachings on avidya. Yoga helps us to master levels of consciousness that help us to break free from suffering and come into direct and immediate experience of the divine. Yoga literally means to yoke or join, and it refers to the awakening to our true nature as spirit through yoga practice. We awaken to ourself, which exists beyond the ego or personality, beyond the self with a small s. This experience is universal, but it must be discovered individually by each one of us. And I'm going to read a few excerpts from the Yoga Sutras from Veloto's translation. So this comes from Book 1, verse 2 through 5. Yoga frees you from the drama, the tragedy, the saga your mind creates, and allows you to experience your true self. Your true self knows reality and does not confuse it with the twisted tales your mind spins. Some of these stories bring pleasure, some bring pain. All are forms of fiction that distract you from reality and your true self. And then from Book 1, verse 16. The supreme non-attachment is when you accept life as it is right now. Your mind's drama does not distract you as you dwell in your true self, needing nothing, wanting nothing. When we practice yoga, we remember our true self and contemplate on our oneness with all creation. Spirit is the supreme self, free from desire and all-knowing. And then let's go into our yoga practice with this excerpt from Book 2, verse 32. Surrender. Become one with Spirit, aware of your sacred nature. Know that you are woven into the intricate matrix of creation. So recall your Sankalpa from a few weeks ago. We did an entire class on Sankalpa, intention. You may want to go back and do that one as well if you haven't done that one already. So recall your Sankalpa and repeat it again silently to yourself. And if you can't remember it, create a new one. Remember, your intention can be an altruistic intention for yourself, or you can dedicate your practice to another human being, place. Okay. And then you'll need to scooch away from the wall a bit. You may even want to turn yourself around and put your mat in its regular spot again. We're going to do this practice starting on our backs today. And so this is the beginning of using this technique that Mark Whitwell uses of enveloping movement with your breath. And so it's a real meditation, a real moving meditation, where you move with your breath. You're going to start with your knees to your chest. And exhale here. And then inhale, take your legs straight up, your arms overhead. And exhale and bring your knees into your chest. Inhale, lengthen your legs, bring your arms overhead, moving with breath. And exhale, knees to chest. As you draw your knees into your chest, feel your knees press the air out of your lungs. Inhaling, extending through your legs, bring your arms overhead, allow your breath to fill all the way up to your upper lungs. And exhale. If you know Ujjayi breath, you can go ahead and use that breath now, that ocean sounding breath, where you slightly close the back of your throat so you can hear your breath moving over your vocal cords. And the next time you draw your knees into your chest, you can pause there. And then make your way up onto all fours. Okay, so part of this union that we're creating between your body and your mind, your spirit, your heart, we do this by connecting breath with movement. This is part of yoking that connection. So your hands are going to be under your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And exhale, round up through your back. Allow your breath to fully exhale and continue past the end of the movement. And then allow your breath to begin. And arch your back in the other direction. So allow your breath to create this cushion for your movement to sit within, kind of hugging your movement. If your wrists are bothering you here, you can do this position on fists. Or you can do it on your forearms. Okay, so the next vinyasa that we're going to do is also from this position. So hands under your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. You're going to breathe in here. Breathe out, sit back onto your heels. And then breathe back up to table. Breathe back and sit back onto your heels. So this breath practice, this breath with movement, all your focus and concentration is on the breath and your movement. And as a result, that kind of monkey mind can't come into your practice here. Also, the breath is incredibly purifying. So you're cleansing away all those false perceptions that come up through your mind. Allow there to be a pause at the end of your exhalation. Moving slowly with breath. Okay, so we're going to add on this time. Inhale up to table. Tuck your toes under. Exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale back to table. Exhale into child's. Inhale up to table. Exhale down dog. Inhale, knees bend. Exhale, sit back. Allow your breath to lengthen out. Let the movement be graceful. A moving meditation. Okay, and then after the next time you come to child's pose, rest in child's pose, rest your head on the ground, lift your forearms off the ground, and circle your wrists. Okay, and then we're going to do another one. Okay, you're going to have your hands underneath your shoulders again. This time you're going to inhale, open your left arm up to the side, and exhale, bring your left shoulder down to the ground here. Inhale, open up. Exhale, rotate through. Moving slowly with breath, pausing at the end of the exhalation. Okay, and then let's switch sides. Inhale, open, and exhale, rotate. Inhale, open. And exhale, rotate. Okay, at the end of the next exhalation, come back onto all fours. Tuck your toes under. Come into a downward facing dog. And find a way to come up to standing. From standing, we're going to continue this meditative movement, this vinyasa movement, as taught by Mark Whitwell, as a way of connecting with our true self. It's not something we need to search for outside of ourselves. It already exists. When we chip away the layers of life and cultural influence and trauma and drama, then we will find that true self resting within us. So one of the ways to do this is through our practice of yoga. From standing, you'll inhale and arc your arms out to the side. And then exhale, bring your hands down in prayer position significantly to your heart center. And we'll do this again and again. Coordinating breath and movement. Using that Ujjayi breath. Then we'll add on to this movement. Inhale, reach up. You're going to exhale with bent knees, hinge forward from the hips, come all the way down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come forward. Allow your breath to fully exhale. And fill your lungs all the way up to the top here. The next time you come down, stay down for a few breaths. You're going to inhale, place your hands on your shins or higher on your leg until you come to a flat back. You may be able to do this with your hands on the ground too. Remember to bend your knees as much as you need to, and then you're going to exhale and come down. And then you're going to step your left foot back into a lunge, and it doesn't need to be like the biggest lunge you've ever made. In fact, you might want to make it a little smaller. Sink into your right foot and come upright. You can also fold your mat over for extra padding on your knee here. Okay, you may also want to move your right foot over a little bit to give you a little wider stance here. And you're going to inhale, reach up. And exhale and come down. And if you don't have room for angel arms, then you can inhale, arc forward. And exhale, lower down. So whatever works best for your space. Okay, and then you can come all the way down to hands on either side of your feet. Step your left foot back and your right foot back for plank pose. Option to bend your knees here. Elbows in, slowly lower down. And you'll come to rest on your stomach with your hands underneath your shoulders rolled back and up. Press the front of your pelvis into the ground. Forearms are off the ground, elbows are pointing back and up. And you're going to move with breath here too. So inhale. Your lungs filling with air will lift you up off the ground. And then exhale. As you lower your lungs back down onto the ground, it will deflate. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And then push up into table and back into child's pose just for a rest here. And then inhale back up onto all fours. And place your left foot forward this time. Doesn't need to be a huge lunge. You can tuck your mat over for extra padding underneath your right knee this time. Sink into your left foot, come upright. Option to move your left foot over to widen your base a little bit. And then inhale, reach up. And exhale, forward. Okay, then you can place your hands down on either side of your left foot and curl your right toes, and then step your right foot in and come back up to standing. Fabulous. So all this uses the ideas and is inspired by Mark Whitwell, and I was just thinking too, he has an iPhone app called I Promise, so you could look up that. I think it's like $3.99, so not very expensive, and you could pick that up. And his whole thing is for us to do our yoga, you to do your yoga every day, and to make that promise to yourself. It's a way of connecting with your own true self. Okay. So let's do eagle's arms now. I chose eagle because the eagles are known for having this incredible vision. And it's this kind of vision that we need to connect with our inner true nature. So place your left arm up in front of you and then hook your right arm underneath it. And maybe your palms will come together. Maybe they won't. Option to do something more like this. Wherever you are is perfect today. And then you're going to inhale, lift your elbows up. And exhale and lower them down. Bend your left knee, cross your right leg over. So your toes can either stay on the ground, go to the outside of your right calf, or they can hook all the way around. Okay, find a way to let this posture out of your body. And come back to standing. Inhale, draw your shoulders up. And exhale, lower them down. So you can use the same breath movement as something as simple as a shoulder roll. Inhale up. Exhale, back and down. Pause at the end of your exhalation. And then bring your right elbow up. Hook your left arm underneath. Maybe your palms meet in the center, maybe not. Doesn't matter. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. What really matters is that you're connecting breath with movement. And calming the stormy waters of your mind. And then you can step into your right foot, bend your right knee, cross your left leg over, toes can stay on the ground, or come up to the outside of your right calf, or hook all the way around. And then release this posture from your body. Inhale, draw your shoulders up. Exhale, roll them back and down. Inhale, up. Exhale, back and down. Stay with your full breath. Okay, after the next exhalation, find your way to a sitting position. Get whatever props you need to support you in sitting. Maybe today is a day where you use the wall to support your back, or a chair to sit in. In seated position, we're going to continue working with our breath by balancing the left and right channels of our body with alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. In this pose, you'll take your left hand, and I'm not going to mirror you because that would be too complicated for me today. Your left hand, and bring your thumb and index finger together and rest that on your knees. And the mudra that we're going to use for your right hand is to extend your first two fingers and bend your second two fingers and extend your thumb. And then you'll rest your two fingers at the center of your forehead on your third eye. Close your right nostril with your thumb and breathe in through your left nostril. And then close your left nostril with your ring finger and breathe out through your right nostril. Breathe in through your right nostril. Close right, breathe out left. Breathe in left. Close left, breathe out right. Breathe in right. Close right, breathe out left. Breathe in left. Close left, breathe out right. Breathe in right. Close right, breathe out left. Continue this in your own breath rhythm. Next time you breathe out through your left nostril, lower your right hand, bring your right thumb and index finger together and extend your other three fingers. And continue to stay sitting. And feel the effects of this breath practice. And as you sit, I have a short reading that speaks to the true self. When the turbulence of your mind stops and the lake of your mind becomes clear and still, your true essence, yourself, is reflected. Then yourself can abide in its own true nature. This is the goal of yoga. This is what we want to attain. And thank you for joining us for episode 76 of Namaste Yoga on your true self. Take 5 to 10 minutes afterwards to rest back in Shavasana and allow your practice to integrate. Namaste. The divine light in me honors the true essence and divine light in you.